so nervous about this. I haven't been out of the house all week either, but I always hate cold weather. The people I really have been upset to hear about or hear from this week have been the people who are like, I'm inside a week. But every other time of the year, they're like, I love the cold weather. Me, I hate the hot. You can only take off so many clothes, but you can just keep layering up. Where are those sons of bitches now? They're not here. That's not a real joke I have written. I'm sorry, I'm just angry. I'm also angry. I've kind of started to form a parasocial relationship with someone who I can only describe as my nemesis. I do not know what they look like or who they are, but there is someone in my neighborhood who is leaving plastic bags full of dog shit all on the sidewalk. Yes, I heard a groan, like, yes. And I don't know, what kind of psychopath waits for their dog to poop, bags it up, and then leaves it on the ground? Like, and it's dog poop bags too, like specifically for that purpose. It's not like Ziploc bags. If it was little Ziploc bags full of dog shit, I would not threaten this person. I would be too afraid. I would go to the police. There's a criminal in my neighborhood. Also, I'm not a child. You know, like, if there's dog poop on the ground, I'm not going to be upset. It's the fact that it's wrapped in forever chemicals that I'm upset. Do you know what I mean? Dogs have shit on the ground for thousands of years. I can handle this. I can handle if you're an asshole and you let your dog shit on the ground. Or I can handle, like, maybe you forgot a poop bag that day or it was out, you didn't know. You know, like, we're all human. I can live with that. But what I can't live with is just this person leaving it. And I've put too much time into it, so here's my impression of my nemesis in my neighborhood. So just kind of walking down the street, dog shit on the ground. It's disgusting. We live in a society. And when you live in a society, you enter implicitly into a social contract, an agreement that you all follow the rules of that society. And a lot of people ascribe that to the philosopher Thomas Hobbes, but me personally, I've always assumed when Socrates was facing the death penalty in Athens, he did argue that, you know, the laws that gave him the life he had are the same reason he had to die. Gosh, into my hand, that's disgusting. I'm not going to deal with that. Just walks on. I've clearly thought about it too much, but I hate this person so much. And I do kind of want to just use this show as a platform to issue a warning. We're looking for you. I have a legion of retirees on Nextdoor who are waiting for you to fuck up in front of the wrong Ring camera, buddy. I've worked from home all day. I have nothing better to do. Yeah, cool. I moved back to New Orleans a little over a year ago. Despite my last joke, I do love it here. I do. I moved away in 2020 because of the pandemic. Killin' It is actually the last show I did in 2020 before the pandemic. It was like February 2020, last show I did. And then I didn't do another show for like 2 years because of the pandemic. So for a while, I thought it might be my last forever. And now that I've moved back to New Orleans, though, people have been giving me the compliment of, like, you're different now, which I appreciate. I do take it as a compliment. I am different now. Life has humbled me at every turn. Repeatedly. I left in August 2020, and I moved to Washington, D.C., which is a place I had never even visited before. And it was the biggest place I've ever been, much less lived. So it was very overwhelming. Like, I wasn't ready at all. Like, I didn't even have a winter coat, you know? And, like, it's very important to have a winter coat if you live in Washington, D.C. And I realized at that point in my life, like, I had only ever worn jackets. And, like, a jacket is a flimsy, perishable item compared to a coat. You know, that's like taking a blanket to a duvet party. Like, we're not having the same conversation. Like, a coat is something you pass down for generations, you know? It's like, oh, the weather turned. I must grab Grandmama's coat. Like, had to pull out the furs. No, I'm like, a jacket, I'm gonna lose that at a bar tomorrow when I get whiskey hot, you know? I'm not gonna keep this coat around, this jacket. I don't know, I feel like a coat is like looking into the eyes of your husband after the birth of your first child. Being like, we're in this forever. And a jacket is like getting fingered by your first boyfriend behind the bushes at church camp. Like, it'll do in a pinch, but you know it's not made to last. You know? This can't go on forever. You get it. So what I'm trying to say is I was overwhelmed when I went there. I was out of my depth. I couldn't get a job, so I started working as a nanny to a rich family. They were the kind of family that said the phrases like the working class and the global south in a very specific way that let you know they were not part of those groups. Just a sidebar, I don't like when people say, especially from up north, say the global south to me, because when they do that, it's like, I know they're trying like an erudite way to say poor, but when they look at me and say it, all I hear is like, hey, you know everywhere in the world that's worse than here? Kind of reminds me of where you're from. Global south, huh? They said. But I started working for this family. They were real coat people, and I was out of my depth because I grew up playing checkers. I was very good at it. One time I sat down at a Thanksgiving dinner and I had a couple of pigs in the blanket and I started playing my cousin in checkers. My other cousin walked up and said, hey, I call dibs on playing the winner. And that kept happening for 3 hours until I beat everyone in my family at checkers. All of my 19 first cousins and all of my family members. So I thought it was very smart, at least smarter than children. Hubris, that's what that was. Because I learned that rich children do not play checkers, and they think you're mentally ill if you're still doing that in your 20s. And they will bully you for that. I learned that rich children play chess. Yeah, and I don't know if you've had your ass handed to you in chess by an 8-year-old every day for a year, but it will humble you. It will change your outlook on life. I'm like, yeah, now I'll walk a little different. Yeah, like I'm a little more humble, a little more anxious. Not sure what my thread is in this grand tapestry we're weaving anymore. Where do I fit in? I do have a lot of anxiety. And it's difficult to have anxiety in the Big Easy, you know? This is such a lackadaisical town, and I'm nervous all the time. Like I was watching the press conference on Tuesday. They had an emergency virtual press conference with the governor and like all these law enforcement officials, and they're just begging for everybody to stay inside. Like, they're just like, please, y'all don't know how to drive in this. Just begging, and they're showing that in a small window, and the local news has got a big window of a woman throwing snowballs to her dog on Bourbon Street. It's just a lady outside of the Cat's Meow with a pit bull like, look at this car. And I'm sitting there like, I bet I could get a song of the Cat's Meow real quick right now. we should walk over it. Too lackadaisical. I really do have too much anxiety for it though. Like, when I moved to DC, it was like a culture shock for me of the way people act in the street, because people here are so much nicer, you know, like you talk to people, everybody's so friendly. In the line at the grocery store, you can talk to people, everyone's so nice. But in DC, they looked at me like I was bullying them. If I tried to talk, like if I walked up and like, hey, crazy weather we're having, huh? How you faring? You know, just trying to be friendly. And then they would look at me like I was like, hey, buddy, glad to see you got ground beef in your cart. I know your wife's missing some meat. I'm not doing that. I was walking down the street one day and I saw a mail carrier at one of those big cluster boxes. And I was just like, hey, how you doing, man? I'm trying to walk my dog around him. And he's like, excuse me, please stay 10 feet away. Please stay 10 feet away while I'm putting the mail in. I was like, whoa, they are serious here. Like fucking body checked me right now. And then I moved back to New Orleans, and I had a mail key, but no one told me where my mailbox was. And I asked my property manager, hey, where's my mailbox live? They said, go ask the post office. How would we know that? Fair point. So I went to the post office and I said, excuse me, can you tell me where my mailbox is, please? And she said, I can't tell you that. It would take me months to figure that out. Okay. I was like, well, what can I do to get my mail? And she was like, well, you can go to 2 of these mailboxes on your street, the big cluster boxes. You can stick your key in every single one until you find your mailbox. Or you can wait for your mail carrier to come by, wait till he has it open, ask if you can look in there and see which one's yours. I was like, cool. So just to clear it all out, you're telling me to either go look like I'm committing a federal crime in my neighborhood, or to go commit a federal crime in my neighborhood. That's your pieces of advice for me right now. Very tight, very tight. But I think that I might just be the problem because of my anxiety. Like, I'm too uptight, you know? Like, I think about my bangs more than people think about their children. I'm pretty sure. This lady's got bangs, do you feel me? Yeah. I'm always like, what are they doing right now? Where are they going? They grow so fast. Thanks. Vincent like that one. Thank you, Vincent. I don't know. I saw this thing on TikTok recently that really freed me. This woman had the worst hair I've ever seen in my life. It was a choice. Like, it wasn't her natural hair. She was like, it was a choice she made. She put her hair into a ponytail, and then she took that ponytail, kind of flipped it up, and put a claw clip in. And it was it was like a pregnant dolphin on the back of her head situation. And I was like, ugh, you know. And she said, the back of my head is none of my business. And I was like, that's such a freeing outlook on life. How does she do it? Like, that's not in my field of vision, baby, I don't see it. Like, I would love that. I have such bad anxiety. Like, the only thing I kind of relate to that on is, like, I think about the upper backs of my thighs every 6 to 8 months tops, right? Does anyone else have this? Like, I don't see what's going on back here, so I'm like, doesn't matter to me, you know? And every 6 to 8 months, I'll look back there and be like, Jesus, I didn't know leg hair could get that long. It's like, is that a pube? You are south of the border, friend. I just startled myself. What was I talking about? Anxiety. But I wish I could have that of, like, letting go of the worry. You know, I really struggle with that a lot. I learned recently that when other people's heads are filled with worries, that they don't just carry that around all day. They have a receptacle in their head, and whenever the worries pop up, they go, well, I'm just gonna throw that into the big old bucket of shit I can't do fuck about. Look at, there it goes. Can't do nothing about it. It ain't my worry. I cannot do that. I've been in therapy trying to let go of my worry, and I can't do it. So me and my therapist have kind of met in the middle, and we've created a filing cabinet system, you know? So I can, because I'm worried I'm going to forget to worry about something. Or that if I put something down, I'm like, I'm not going to pick that worry back up later. So now I have the filing cabinet, and it's been very, very freeing to have the filing cabinet. Because like now when I'm crying at work, like preemptively about my dog's death, you know, like she's happy and healthy, she's fine, but I'm like thinking like she's gonna die one day. And while I'm sitting there crying about something that's not happening, I'm just gonna like look that thought in the eyes now and go, hey, no, I'll see you at 3 a.m. where you belong. Very freeing, you know. It's like now when I'm sitting at dinner with the love of my life at a very fancy restaurant, and I'm just sitting there like, would he still love me if I was a worm? And I'm getting very upset about that. I can be like, no, hey, We're going to save this for a Sunday 2 p.m. where you've got nothing better to do and plenty of time to argue about it. Don't ruin dinner. I get really worried, like, oh, my friends are they don't like me. I think I'm lying to everyone and I've tricked everyone into liking me. Hey, no. We're going to save that for 5 minutes before they come over on Friday. We do not have time right now. Thank you guys so much.